My wife told me to teach you a lesson, so no gifts. My son's words echoed through the dining room while I held the keys to the brand new car I had just gifted him. Olivia, my daughter-in-law, stood by his side with that poisonous smile I would never forget. I had just prepared the perfect Christmas dinner. I had just handed him a car that cost me years of savings. I had just given her a designer purse worth over $1,500, and this was what I received in return. Humiliation, contempt, betrayal. But what they did not know was that I had prepared something else. I pulled a manila envelope from my handbag, smiled calmly, and said, "Perfect, then I have an extra gift for you both." In that moment, my life changed forever. Let us go back 3 months. My name is Eleanor. I am 66 years old, and for my entire life, I believed that being a good mother was enough, that sacrifices would always be valued, that unconditional love was reciprocal. I had lived alone since my husband died 7 years ago, in a modest house but one full of memories and photographs of William, my only son. After becoming a widow, I worked as a seamstress until I retired 2 years ago. Every dollar I earned was with him in mind. William was my pride, my reason for existing. When he married Olivia 3 years ago, I thought I would finally have the complete family I always dreamed of. At first, Olivia seemed perfect, educated, smiling, always with kind words. She would come to visit me with William, help me in the kitchen, praise my recipes. I was happy, excited about having a daughter-in-law, about the possibility of having grandchildren one day. But, as the saying goes, not all that glitters is gold. And Olivia glittered too much. The first changes were subtle, so small that I almost ignored them, comments disguised as concern. "Eleanor, do you not think this house is too big for you alone? It must be exhausting to keep it clean." Or, when I prepared food for them, "It is delicious, but I make it a little different, more modern, less heavy." Always with that smile, always with that sweet tone that made it difficult to identify the poison behind every word. William began to change as well. Before, he called me 3 times a week, spent Sundays with me, told me everything about his job as an engineer. But after getting married, the calls became bi-weekly, then monthly. The Sunday visits disappeared. When I asked if I could visit them, there was always an excuse. "We are busy, Mom. Olivia does not feel well. We have plans." I tried not to be that meddling mother-in-law, that possessive mother everyone talks about. So I waited. I waited for them to seek me out. One day in September, I decided to visit them without warning. I brought an apple pie I had baked that morning, William's favorite since he was a child. I rang the doorbell of their apartment with excitement, imagining the surprise on their faces. Olivia opened the door. She did not smile. She looked me up and down with those cold eyes I was starting to know too well. "Eleanor, what a surprise! We did not know you were coming." Her voice was flat, without warmth. "I wanted to surprise you. I made the pie that William loves." She took the pie without inviting me in. She remained standing in the doorway, blocking the entrance. "William is working. I was just about to leave. Maybe next time you could let us know beforehand." "Of course," I just thought. "It is just that you invade our space a little, you know? Young married couples need privacy. They cannot have the mother-in-law showing up all the time." She smiled, but there was no kindness in that smile. "Thanks for the pie. We will call you." She closed the door in my face. I stood in the hallway, feeling the tears beginning to form in my eyes. Invading their space? All the time? I barely saw them once a month. I returned home feeling small, embarrassed, confused. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was the problem. That night, William called me. "Mom, Olivia told me you stopped by today. Thanks for the pie. It was delicious." "But she is right. It would be better if you let us know before coming. We have our routine, do you understand?" "Yes, son. I am very sorry. It will not happen again. Do not apologize so much. Just let us know next time." He hung up quickly. I sat in my empty living room, looking at the photographs of William on the walls. When had he become so cold? When did I stop being important to him? I decided to make a greater effort. Maybe if I was a better mother-in-law, if I respected their boundaries more, if I tried harder, things would improve. October arrived with its crisp air and falling leaves. I decided to invite them to dinner, with 2 weeks' notice, doing everything exactly as Olivia preferred. I cleaned the house until it sparkled, bought expensive ingredients, prepared a menu I found on the internet, more modern and light as she liked. I set the table with my good china, the ones I reserved for special occasions. When they arrived, Olivia inspected everything with that critical look that made me nervous. "What a nice table." "Eleanor, although those tablecloths look a little old, do they not? In the stores there are lovely ones, with more current colors." I served the dinner I had spent hours preparing. Herb roasted chicken, roasted vegetables, fresh salad. Olivia tried a bite and frowned slightly. "It is okay. The chicken is a little dry, but it is okay." William said nothing. He ate in silence, looking at his phone. I tried to make conversation. "How is work going, son?" "Good, Mom." He did not look up. "And you, Olivia? How is your job at the boutique?" "Busy. You know, I sell handbags from exclusive brands. Today I sold one for $3,000. Not just anyone can buy what I sell." She looked at me with intention. "They are for people with a certain level." I swallowed hard. The message was clear. I did not have that level. I was the retired seamstress with old tablecloths and dry chicken. After dinner, while I was serving coffee, I heard Olivia whispering something to William in the living room. I approached with the coffee pot and managed to hear. "Too big for her alone. We are paying rent when your mother has a house. It makes no sense." William murmured something I did not understand. Olivia continued. "You should talk to her. It is your inheritance anyway. Why wait?" My blood ran cold. Did they want my house? Was that the reason for the comments about it being too big for me? I entered the living room, pretending I had heard nothing. "Coffee." "No thanks. Eleanor. We are leaving now. William has to work early tomorrow." Olivia got up quickly, grabbed her designer purse, and headed for the door. William gave me a quick kiss on the cheek. "Thanks for dinner, Mom. Will you come for Christmas?" I asked, desperate to have something to look forward to. "We will see. We will let you know." And they left. I stayed alone in my house that was too big, surrounded by dirty dishes and broken dreams. The days following that dinner were a silent torture. I could not stop thinking about what I had heard. It is your inheritance anyway. Why wait? Olivia's words spun in my head like a broken record. My house. The house my husband and I bought 30 years ago, where we raised William, where every corner held memories of laughter, birthdays, hugs, and now my daughter-in-law viewed it as an asset they should claim. I tried to rationalize. Maybe I had misunderstood. Maybe Olivia was just worried about my well-being, about whether it was too much work to maintain the house. But deep down, I knew the truth. I knew that calculating look, that tone she used when she spoke of money and possessions. To her, I was not a mother-in-law. I was an obstacle between her and what she wanted. 1 week later, William called me. My heart jumped with joy seeing his name on the screen. How pathetic, right? A 66-year-old mother getting excited because her son calls her. "Hi, Mom. How are you?" "Good, son. What a joy to hear you. Look, I wanted to talk to you about something important." He paused. My stomach tightened. "Olivia and I have been thinking. We are paying $900 in rent every month. It is a lot of money going to waste. And you are alone in that big house, with so many empty rooms, stairs to keep clean, a garden to take care of. It must be exhausting for you." There it was, the beginning of the conversation I had feared. "It is not that hard, son. I manage the house well. But Mom, you are 66 years old. You are not getting any younger. Olivia and I think it would be good for you to consider moving to something smaller, more manageable. A 1-bedroom apartment, no stairs, no maintenance. And we could take the house. That way we would save that rent and you would be more comfortable." I felt as if I had been punched in the stomach. "You want me to leave my house? Do not look at it that way. Think about your comfort. Besides, the house will eventually be mine anyway. It is my inheritance. We are just speeding up the inevitable. And do not worry. We will help you find a nice apartment. We could even give you some money for the move. Some money for the house where I spent 30 years of my life. William, this house is in my name. Your father and I paid for it over 25 years. I do not plan to leave it." His tone changed. It became cold. "Do not be selfish, Mom. Olivia and I are building a future. We need that house more than you. What are you going to do with 4 bedrooms? Stare at empty walls while we throw money away on rent? Selfish? He called me selfish. My son. The boy I raised alone after his father died, whose college I paid for by working double shifts, who never lacked for anything. I am not going to discuss this now, I said, with my voice trembling. Goodbye, William. I hung up before he could hear me cry. I let myself fall onto the sofa and cried like I had not done since my husband's funeral. How had it reached this point? How had my son, my William, turned into this? During the following weeks, the messages and calls continued, but they were no longer of affection or genuine concern. They were constant pressure. Olivia began sending me links to apartments for sale. Look at this one, Eleanor. Perfect for you. 1 bedroom, close to the supermarket, and only $120,000. With what we give you for the house, it is enough. With what they gave me, my house was worth at least $350,000. Did they plan to give me $120,000 and keep the rest? William went from polite calls to direct demands. Mom, this is ridiculous. Olivia and I need that house. Stop being so stubborn. One day in November, he appeared at my door with Olivia. They had not called ahead. They entered without me really inviting them, and Olivia began to walk through the house as if it were hers, looking at the rooms, measuring with her eyes, planning. This room would be perfect for my office, she said, pointing to the room that had been William's as a child. And here we could put a gym. Eleanor, you really are wasting this space. This is my house, I said, trying to keep calm. For now, replied Olivia with that smile. But things change. Older people eventually need simpler spaces. It is the nature of life. I am not as old as you think. Of course not. Her tone was condescending, as if speaking to a child. But you are not young either, and William is your only son. Do you not want the best for him? Do you not want him to have a dignified home instead of throwing money away on rent? He has a home, the apartment where you live. A rented apartment is not a home. This, she pointed around, this is a home, and it should be ours. William said nothing. He just stood there, looking at the floor, letting his wife attack me. The boy I defended from bullies in school, who ran to my arms when he had nightmares, now could not defend me from his own wife. After they left, something inside me broke, but not in the way they expected. I did not break down in sadness and submission. I broke into clarity. For the first time in months, I saw the situation with absolute sharpness. My daughter-in-law was a manipulator who had poisoned my son against me, and William, my dear William, was too weak or too blind to see it. But I was not weak, and I was not blind. That night I took out all the documents for the house, deeds, appraisals, tax payments. I studied them carefully. The house was completely paid off, in my name. Legally, it was mine. But I knew that would not stop Olivia. She would keep pressing, manipulating, poisoning William until I gave in from exhaustion or guilt. I was not going to allow it. I began to pay more attention. In the few visits they paid me, I no longer concentrated on being the perfect hostess. I watched them. And I started to notice strange things. Olivia checked her phone constantly, smiling at messages she hid quickly when William looked. She stepped out to take work calls that lasted 15, 20 minutes. Once, I heard her laughing outside, a flirtatious laugh she did not use with my son. William seemed to notice nothing. Or he did not want to notice. He was too busy working, too absorbed in Olivia's plans about the house, too distant from everything else. One Saturday afternoon, I invited them for coffee. Olivia arrived in a tight, coral-colored dress and high heels, too dressed up for a simple visit to her mother-in-law. Her phone vibrated during coffee. She looked at it and smiled. "Excuse me, it is work. I must answer." She went out to the garden. I got up with the excuse of bringing more sugar. From the kitchen window, I saw her. She was leaning against the tree in the garden, playing with her hair, laughing in that way. It was not a work call. No work call causes that sparkle in the eyes, that soft and seductive laugh. William was in the living room, checking his computer, oblivious to everything. When Olivia returned, her cheeks were flushed. "It was my boss. She wants me to work on Sunday." Liar. That night, after they left, I made a decision. I needed to know the truth. I needed proof. Because I had the horrible suspicion that my daughter-in-law was not only stealing my son and coveting my house, she was betraying William in the worst way possible. And if I was going to protect myself, if I was going to protect what was mine, I needed to know exactly who I was dealing with. The next day, I searched the internet and found the number of a private investigator. A certain Mr. Frank Miller, with good references and reasonable rates. I called with trembling hands. "I need you to investigate someone," I said when he answered. "I think she is cheating on my son." Frank Miller had a calm and professional voice that gave me a certain peace amidst the chaos that was my life at that moment. We met in a discreet coffee shop on the other side of the city, far from where anyone I knew could see me. He was a man of about 50, with gray hair and a look that had seen too much of human nature to be surprised by anything. "Tell me everything," he said, taking out a notebook. I told him about Olivia, the mysterious calls, the sudden exits, the way she dressed up too much for certain occasions. I told him about how she manipulated William, how she was pushing me away from my own son, how they wanted to take my house. Frank listened without interrupting, taking notes occasionally. "How long have you been noticing these behaviors?" "A month, maybe 2. But the manipulation began longer ago, since they got married." "I understand. I need you to provide me with all the information you have about her. Full name, workplace, routines, schedules, photographs if you have them." I gave him everything I knew. Olivia Fernandez, 32 years old, worked at a luxury boutique downtown, got off work at 6 in the evening on weekdays. I showed him photographs from my phone of family gatherings and dinners. My fees are $800 per week, plus expenses. Generally, these cases take between 2 and 3 weeks to obtain solid evidence. It was a lot of money, almost half my monthly pension. But I needed to know the truth. "Go ahead." Frank began his work the next day. He reported to me every 3 days with updates. The first reports were routine. Olivia went to work, left at the indicated time, sometimes met friends for coffee. Nothing out of the ordinary. I began to think that maybe I was wrong, that my distrust was a product of my resentment toward her. But then came the report on the 10th day. "Mrs. Eleanor, I need us to meet. I have information." His tone was serious. We met at the same coffee shop. Frank took out a manila envelope and slid it across the table toward me. My hands trembled as I took it. "Before you open it, I want to warn you that the content is disturbing. If you prefer, I can simply tell you what I found." "No, I need to see it." I opened the envelope. Inside were photographs. The first showed Olivia leaving a hotel. Not just any hotel, one of those expensive hotels downtown, the kind where rooms cost $300 a night. She wore large sunglasses and looked around as if checking that no one saw her. The next photograph showed a man leaving the same hotel 15 minutes later. Tall, well-dressed, about 45 years old, with a shiny Rolex on his wrist. "His name is Sebastian Medina," explained Frank. "Businessman, owner of 3 luxury car dealerships, married, 2 children. His wife has no idea." There were more photographs. Olivia and Sebastian entering expensive restaurants, holding hands in the parking lot of a mall, kissing inside a car. Each image was a stab in my heart. Not for me, but for William, my son, working late to provide a good life for this woman, while she betrayed him with someone who probably bought her the expensive things she loved so much. "There is more," said Frank, taking out another set of papers. "I managed to access some records. That hotel. They have been going there every Wednesday for the past 4 months. Always the same room. Always paid for by him. I also tracked some expenses. Look at this purse." He showed me a photograph of Olivia carrying an emerald green purse from a brand I could barely pronounce. "It costs $4,500. It was bought by Sebastian 2 months ago. These earrings," he pointed to another photo, $2,200. Gift from him. And this dress she is wearing in this photo from her social media profile, $3,800. I felt nauseous. William does not make that much money. He is an engineer, he earns well, but not to buy things of that price. Exactly. She tells your son that she works in a luxury boutique and that they give her discounts. But I have verified with the store. They do not give those kinds of discounts even to their employees. Everything she is wearing that is worth more than $1,000 comes from Sebastian. There is more. Frank nodded and took out his phone. I managed to intercept some messages. I am not going to lie to you. It was complicated, and technically, in a legal gray area. But you need to see this. He showed me screenshots of conversations between Olivia and Sebastian. I read them with growing horror. I cannot wait to get out of this. William is so boring, always working, never wants to do anything fun. Be patient, my love. Once you get his mother's house, we can sell it and you will have your share. Then you can leave him. His stupid mother does not want to let go of the house. But I am working on that. William is so manipulatable. Eventually, he will convince her. You are brilliant and beautiful. That fool does not know what he has. Soon he will have nothing. The house is worth $350,000. We will give the old woman $120,000 to go away. The rest we split and I disappear. I will be able to open my own boutique like I always wanted. Tears ran down my face. I could not breathe. Everything had been a farce. The marriage, the feigned affection toward William, the pressure for my house. Everything was part of a plan to steal and destroy. There is something else, said Frank softly. According to what I was able to find out, Sebastian has been giving her money monthly, around $2,000 every month for the last year. She tells William they are commissions from the boutique, but in reality, it is her lover who supports her. My son, I whispered. My poor son knows nothing. Mrs. Eleanor, I have to ask you, what do you plan to do with this information? I dried my tears. A cold fury began to replace the pain. I am going to protect my son, and I am going to protect my house. Can you get me more evidence? Something definitive that cannot be denied. I can get videos. With your authorization, I can follow them next Wednesday and document everything. Do it, whatever the cost. I spent the next week in a kind of trance. William called me twice, pressuring me again about the house. Each time he was more insistent, harsher. Mom, enough games already. We need an answer. Olivia is very stressed with this. It is affecting her health. How ironic, Olivia was stressed. William, I want you both to come for dinner on Christmas Eve. I have something important to tell you about the house. There was a pause. I could hear him consulting with Olivia in the background. You are going to sign the house over to us. We are going to talk about that. Come on Christmas Eve. I prepared something special. Okay, we will be there. The following Wednesday, Frank did his job. He sent me a message at the end of the day. I have it all. High-quality video. There is no way to deny it. We met that night. He showed me the video on his laptop. Olivia and Sebastian entering the hotel, holding hands, laughing. The images were sharp, professional. Then a video taken with a long-range camera of them in the hotel room, the curtains partially open. They were kissing passionately, taking off their clothes. I looked away. That is enough, I said. I also have this. He showed me more screenshots of messages, these more recent. Christmas dinner is perfect. I think the old woman is going to give in. William says she finally agreed to talk about the subject. Excellent. Once she signs, we take a vacation to celebrate. I have a resort in mind. I cannot wait to get that boring man off my back. I cannot stand him anymore. Every word was gasoline to the fire that burned inside me. Frank, I need you to compile all this into a report. Photographs, videos, screenshots, hotel payment records, everything. I want 2 printed copies and a USB drive. When do you need it? Before Christmas. You will have it. I spent the next few days planning. Not only was I going to expose Olivia, I was going to do it in the most devastating way possible, but I also needed to protect my assets. I could not allow William, in his pain or manipulation, to try to claim something later. I contacted a lawyer, Mr. Reynolds, specialized in estate planning. I explained my situation without going into sordid details. I want to put my house in an irrevocable trust in my name. I want it to be impossible for anyone else to claim it while I am alive. That is possible. I can also add clauses that specify who it passes to after your death and under what conditions. Mr. Reynolds worked quickly. In a week, all the documents were ready. My house was now in an irrevocable trust with my name as the sole lifetime beneficiary. After my death, it would pass to William, but with a specific clause. If he tried to claim it while I lived, or if he tried to manipulate me legally to obtain it, he would automatically lose any right to it, and the property would be donated to a charity foundation. This protects it completely, explained Reynolds. No one can force you to leave, sell, or transfer the property. Not even your son can do anything legally. And if he tries, he loses everything. Perfect. I also updated my will. William remained my heir, but only if he met certain conditions. Reynolds assured me that everything was legal and bulletproof. I signed every document with a steady hand. For the first time in months, I felt I had control over my life. Frank handed me the complete report 3 days before Christmas. It was a thick folder with every piece of evidence organized chronologically. Photographs of Olivia and Sebastian on different dates and locations. Videos from the hotel. Screenshots of complete conversations. Bank transaction records showing Sebastian's monthly payments to a hidden account Olivia had. Receipts for expensive gifts. Handbags. Jewelry. Clothes. All paid for by him. It even had the record of the resort Sebastian had booked for January, a luxury suite in Cancun for 5 nights, $8,000 in both their names. You have done an exceptional job, I told Frank while reviewing everything. It is what I do. I am sorry you had to see this. Do not be sorry. You gave me exactly what I needed to protect my son. You are going to tell him, on Christmas Eve, in front of her. Frank whistled low. That will be explosive. That is the point. The days leading up to Christmas were spent in a strange calm. I was not nervous. I was not sad. I was in a state of absolute determination. Every time I thought about Olivia's messages calling William boring, manipulatable, dumb, my resolve strengthened. She had not only hurt me, she had been systematically destroying my son, using him, robbing him of his dignity while planning to leave him with nothing. I prepared the Christmas dinner as if it were my last masterpiece. Roasted turkey with herbs, creamy mashed potatoes, glazed vegetables, freshly baked bread, and a chocolate cake that was the house specialty. I set the table with my fine china plates, the ones I had inherited from my mother. Candles, elegant decorations, crystal glasses, everything had to be perfect. I also prepared the gifts. For William, the keys to a new car, a silver sedan I had bought with my savings. $28,000 representing years of economizing every penny of my pension. I had bought it thinking of giving my son something special, something that demonstrated how much I loved him despite everything. The car was parked outside with a giant red bow. For Olivia, a designer purse. One of those she loved so much. Beige with the gold logo. $1,500. I had bought it with the money remaining from my savings. I wanted her to have a gift too. Something expensive she would value, because what would come next would be even more valuable. And in my handbag, I kept the envelope, the thick manila envelope with all the evidence. My true gift for them. The morning of December 24th dawned cold and clear. I got up early, dressed with care. I put on an elegant ivory dress, applied makeup, did my hair. I wanted to look dignified, strong, not like the pathetic old woman they believed I was. I checked every detail of the dinner, verified that everything was in its place. The envelope was in my handbag by the door. William and Olivia arrived at 7 in the evening. She wore a tight coral dress and high heels, with her hair loose in perfect waves. Her nails were freshly done, her lips painted a dark shade. She carried one of the purses Sebastian had gifted her, although I doubted William knew its true origin. He came in casual trousers and a shirt. He looked tired. He always looked tired lately. "Mom, how nice you look," said William, giving me a kiss on the cheek. "Thanks, son. Come in, come in." Olivia entered, looking around with that expression of appraisal she always used. "Smells good. What did you prepare? Turkey and all the sides. I hope you like it." "I am sure it is delicious," said William. We served dinner. They ate with appetite while I barely tasted a bite. My stomach was in a knot, but not from nerves. It was anticipation. They chatted about William's work, about Olivia's boutique, about their plans for the new year. Olivia mentioned casually that she wanted to travel in January. "Where to?" I asked, knowing the answer perfectly well. "Oh, maybe Cancun. I need a vacation. Work has been so stressful." She looked at me with intention, especially with everything regarding the house. It has been very difficult for me. It must be exhausting, I said calmly. William looked at me anxiously. Mom, have you thought about what we discussed? About the house. Yes, I have thought a lot. In fact, I want to talk about that, but first, the gifts. Olivia's eyes lit up. Oh, how exciting! I got up and went to get the boxes. First, I gave the large one to William. This is for you, son. He opened the box and took out the keys. What is this? Look outside. We walked to the door. When William saw the car with the red bow, his jaw dropped. Mom, what did you do? You bought me a car. I know yours is already 8 years old and gives trouble. This is new, reliable. For you, William hugged me. For a moment, I saw my real son, not the manipulated version Olivia had created. Mom, this is too much. I cannot accept it. It is done. It is yours. Olivia had approached, looking at the car with calculating eyes. Probably she was already thinking about how much it was worth, that eventually it would be hers too. Back inside, I gave her box to Olivia. And this is for you. She opened the box with anxious fingers. When she saw the purse, her smile widened. Oh, Eleanor, it is beautiful. Thanks. She sounded sincere, but I knew she was only happy because it was expensive. I am glad you like it. We sat back at the table. William was still smiling, looking at the car keys. Olivia was stroking her new purse. And then the moment arrived. Well, now the gifts from you to me, I said with a light tone. The silence was immediate. William stopped smiling. Olivia stopped stroking the purse. They looked at each other. William cleared his throat. Mom, about that. Olivia and I talked and decided that this year we would not do gifts. How? I pretended surprise. Olivia leaned forward with that condescending smile I hated so much. Eleanor, we believe you need to learn a lesson about giving without expectations. You are always giving things, buying affection. It is unhealthy, so we decided not to give you anything this year. For your own good. For my own good, I repeated slowly. Yes, continued William, clearly repeating words she had planted. You need to learn that love cannot be bought, that relationships are not based on material gifts. My wife told me to teach you a lesson, so no gifts. Olivia nodded, with that satisfied smile. It is for your good, truly. When you learn this, our relationship will be healthier. I looked at both of them. William looked uncomfortable but convinced. Olivia looked triumphant, as if she had just won something. She had just received a $1,500 purse and sat there, lecturing me about unconditional love. I got up slowly, walked to where my handbag was by the door. I took out the manila envelope. I held it in my hands for a moment, feeling its weight. Everything inside would change everything forever. There was no turning back. I returned to the table and placed the envelope in front of me. I smiled. Perfect, I said with a quiet voice. If there are no gifts from you, then I have one more gift for you both. One you are going to remember for the rest of your lives. The silence in the dining room was absolute. William looked at me confused. Olivia had that frozen smile on her face, but I saw a flash of concern in her eyes. She was smart, manipulative, and something in my tone had alerted her that this was not what she expected. Another gift, Mom? Asked William, trying to sound casual but clearly uncomfortable with the tension that suddenly filled the room. Yes, son. A real gift. The gift of truth. I opened the envelope slowly, enjoying every second of anticipation. You see, the last few weeks I have been very busy, not only thinking about the house, as you insisted, but investigating, learning fascinating things. Olivia stiffened, investigating what? To you, dear daughter-in-law. I took out the first photograph from the envelope and placed it on the table, turning it so both could see it. It was the image of Olivia entering the luxury hotel, looking over her shoulder as if checking that no one saw her. William took the photo, frowning. What is this? Your wife entering the Platinum Hotel on Wednesday, December 3rd. Do you recognize that hotel, son? It is the one that costs $300 a night. I wonder why your wife would be entering there on a Wednesday at 3 in the afternoon. I can explain, began Olivia quickly. I was visiting an important client. She was staying there and wanted to see products. Ah, how convenient. I took out another photograph. Then this man who left the same hotel 15 minutes later was also a client, I suppose. The photo showed Sebastian Medina with his expensive suit and shiny Rolex. William looked at the photos, his face going from confusion to concern. "Mom, what is this? You are making accusations." "I am not making accusations, son. I am showing facts." I took out more photographs, one after another, placing them on the table like poker cards. Olivia and Sebastian holding hands in a parking lot, kissing inside a car, entering expensive restaurants together. Each image was more damning than the last. Olivia had turned pale. "This is ridiculous. They are photos taken out of context." "William, your mother is inventing things because she is resentful about the house." "Taken out of context." I took out my phone and opened a video. "Then this is also taken out of context." I pressed play. The video showed Olivia and Sebastian in the hotel room. The long-range camera had captured perfectly through the partially open curtains. They were kissing passionately. He was taking off her dress. She was unbuttoning his shirt. William stood up abruptly, his face red. "Turn that off." I stopped the video. "As you wish. I have 3 more hours of similar content from different dates, but I understand you do not want to see it all." William looked at Olivia with wild eyes. "What the hell is this, Olivia?" "It is a lie, William. Your mother hired someone to create this, to separate us. Do you not see it? She is desperate because she knows we are going to take the house from her. Create videos." I took out the screenshots of the messages. "I also created these messages between you and your lover." I began to read aloud. "I cannot wait to get out of this. William is so boring, always working, never wants to do anything fun." William snatched the papers from my hand, reading with widening eyes. I saw the exact moment his heart broke. His hands trembled as he turned from one page to another. "Be patient, my love. Once you get his mother's house, we can sell it, and you will have your share. Then you can leave him," he read aloud, his voice cracking. "His stupid mother does not want to let go of the house. But I am working on that. William is so manipulatable. Eventually, he will convince her." "William, let me explain." Olivia tried to take his hand, but he pulled away abruptly. "There is more," I said coldly. I took out the bank records. "This is Sebastian Medina. Businessman, owner of luxury car dealerships, married, 2 children. And for the last year, he has been depositing $2,000 monthly into a secret account in your wife's name." William took the papers with trembling hands. $2,000 a month. She told you they were commissions from the boutique, right? I saw him nod slowly. "The boutique does not pay those commissions." I called and verified. "That money comes from him. Her lover has been supporting her." I took out more receipts. "This green purse she is wearing in this photo, $4,500. Gift from Sebastian. These earrings, $2,200. From him. This coral dress she is wearing right now, $3,800. Also, from him. Everything she uses that is worth more than $1,000 has been paid for by her lover, not with her money, nor with yours." William looked at Olivia as if seeing her for the first time. "All this time you have been with another man. It is not what you think," Olivia tried, fake tears beginning to form. "William, your mother is lying. That account, that money, I can explain it. You can explain this too." I dropped the final bombshell. The travel itinerary. Honeymoon resort in Cancun. Presidential suite. From January 10th to 15th. Booked and paid for by Sebastian Medina. $8,000. In the names of Sebastian Medina and Olivia Fernandez. I passed the paper to William. "The vacation you wanted so much in January, remember? It was not to rest from work stress. It was to be with him." William read the document, and something inside him broke visibly. He slumped into the chair, tears beginning to run down his face. "1 year. You have been cheating on me for a full year. William, my love, please." Olivia tried to hug him, but he pulled away violently. "Do not touch me. Do not ever touch me again." Olivia changed tactics instantly. She turned toward me with eyes full of hate. "This is your fault. You never accepted us. Always interfering. Always judging me. What did you expect to happen? William works all the time. He never pays attention to me. Always worried about pleasing you. Do not dare blame my son for your infidelity," I said with a steel voice. "And definitely do not dare blame me. You made these decisions." You chose to cheat, lie, steal, steal. William looked up. What are you talking about, Mom? Oh, that is the best part. I took out more screenshots of messages. Your dear wife and her lover had a plan. They were going to manipulate you so you would take the house from me. According to her messages, they wanted to give me $120,000 to move to a small apartment. The house is worth $350,000. They were going to keep the rest, $230,000. Olivia planned to take her share, $115,000, and leave you. She was going to use that money to open her own boutique and start a new life with Sebastian. William looked at me in disbelief. Is that true? You are taking things out of context, yelled Olivia, losing her composure. I was angry when I wrote that. I did not mean it seriously. There are 16 different conversations over a period of 4 months where you discuss this plan in detail, I said firmly, including one where you calculate exactly how much money you would need for the deposit on a boutique and how long the divorce would take. William stood up, walked to the window, looking out with slumped shoulders. The silence in the room was dense, suffocating. Olivia looked frantically between us, clearly calculating her next move. William, love, please listen to me. She tried again with a soft, vulnerable voice. Yes, I made mistakes. Yes, I got carried away. But it was because I felt lonely, abandoned. You work so much. You are never home. I needed attention, affection. Sebastian was there when you were not. So you blame me, said William without turning around. I am not blaming you. I am just explaining. People make mistakes when they feel lonely. But I love you, William. We can overcome this. We can go to therapy. Your mother is trying to destroy us because she cannot stand that you are happy with me. Happy. William turned around abruptly. You called me manipulatable. You said I was boring. You planned to rob my mother and leave me. I was angry when I wrote that. Words mean nothing. Words mean everything. William walked back to the table, picking up the photos, the messages, looking at them as if he could not believe they were real. 1 year, Olivia. A full year of lies. Olivia saw that tears and pleas were not working. Her face hardened. You know what? Fine. Yes, I was with Sebastian. Yes, we planned to get the house. And you know why? Because I deserve it. I married you expecting a comfortable life, expecting your mother to eventually give us something. But she is a selfish old woman who clings to her house while we pay rent. What did you expect me to do? Stay in that mediocre apartment forever? Olivia's words hung in the air like poison. William looked at her like she was a stranger, as if he had never really seen her until this moment. I remained seated, calm, watching as the mask finally fell completely. So that is what I am to you, said William slowly, a means to get money and comfort. You did not love me. You never loved me. Olivia crossed her arms, her face now showing pure contempt. Love. What a naive word. Love does not pay the bills. William, love does not buy designer purses or luxury resort vacations. I married you because I thought you had a future, that eventually we would have a good life. But you are so busy being the perfect son, so obsessed with being responsible and hardworking, that you never realize what really matters. And what is it that really matters? Asked William with a trembling voice. The money? Material things? Yes, exactly that. We live in the real world, not in your fantasy where hard work and honesty are everything. Sebastian understands that. He knows how to treat a woman. He does not make me live in a rented apartment. He buys me what I want, takes me to beautiful places, makes me feel special. Because he is married and you are his mistress, I said coldly. Because it is easy to be generous when you have a wife at home, taking care of your children while you play with your new toy. You are not special to him, Olivia. You are an expensive hobby. Her eyes turned to me with pure hate. All this is your fault. If you had handed over the house like you should have, none of this would have happened. But no, you had to be difficult. You had to cling to your stupid house and your pathetic memories. A selfish old woman who cannot let go of the past. My house, I said, rising slowly, is mine. I bought it with my husband after 25 years of payments. I maintained it alone after he died. It is my home, my memories, my security, and I will never, ever give it to you. It does not matter anymore, spat Olivia. Anyway, he was never going to stay with you forever. William eventually would have seen things my way. He always did. He is so easy to manipulate. William took a step back as if he had been physically hit. Everything was manipulation? Every time you ask me for something, every conversation about my mother, every suggestion about the house. Obviously. You really thought I cared about your boring engineering career or your problems at work. I nodded and smiled because that is what one does. That is marriage, William. Pretending you care until you get what you want. Tears flowed freely down my son's face now. Seeing his pain tore me apart, but I knew this was necessary. He needed to see who Olivia really was, without filters, without pretenses. Only then could he finally free himself from her. 3 years, whispered William. 3 years of my life with someone who never loved me, who saw me as a fool, who planned to rob my mother and leave me. Oh, do not play the victim. Olivia rolled her eyes. You are no saint. You are boring, predictable, obsessed with pleasing your mother. Do you know how many times I had to pretend interest in your conversations about engineering projects? How many dinners with your mother I had to endure, smiling while she judged me with those eyes? I never judged you, I said firmly. I received you into my family with open arms. I treated you with respect and affection. Even tonight, I bought you an expensive gift because I wanted you to feel valued. Olivia looked at the purse she had left on the table and let out a bitter laugh. $1,500. Sebastian does not spend more than that on a dinner. This purse is trash compared to what he gives me. Then give it back to me, I said, extending my hand. What? The purse. If it is trash, give it back to me. You do not deserve anything coming from me or my son. Olivia looked at the purse, then at me, her face twisted in fury. For a moment I thought she would throw it on the floor or hurl it against the wall, but her greed won. She took it and clutched it to her chest. It is mine. You gave it to me. How pathetic you are, I said with contempt. So much talk about Sebastian and his generosity, but you cannot let go of something free. That is the truth about you, Olivia. You are a greedy opportunist who takes everything she can from anyone foolish enough to give it to her. Better an opportunist than a bitter old woman, clinging to an empty house and a son who would never visit her if he did not feel obligated. William exploded. Enough. Enough, Olivia. His voice boomed in the dining room. Do not ever speak to my mother like that again. Do not ever speak of her at all. Oh, now you defend her. Now that she has filled your head with her lies. Lies. William pointed to all the photos and documents scattered on the table. These are not lies. They are photos of you with your lover. They are messages from you planning to steal and abandon me. Everything is here, in your own handwriting, in your own words. That does not change the fact that your mother is a manipulator. She has had you under her control all your life. Can you not see that she just wants to keep you close, keep me out? She never accepted me. I was always the outsider, the one who was not good enough. You were not good enough, I said with an icy voice, because you are a liar, a cheater, and a thief. Not because I had anything against you from the start. I received you with love, and you spat it back in my face. Olivia looked at me with narrowed eyes. You know, I should have seen it coming. I should have known that a lonely and boring old woman would find a way to ruin everything. Probably you did not even want William to be happy. You just wanted to keep him tied to you forever. My son deserves to be happy, I said firmly. That is why I am doing this. Because he will never be happy with someone like you. Someone who sees him as a tool, as a means to an end. He deserves someone who truly loves him, not an actress counting the days until she can rob and leave him. You talk a lot about love, Olivia laughed humorlessly. But if you loved him so much, you would have given him the house when he asked for it. You would have made things easier for him. Instead, you clung to it as if it were more important than your own son. The house is not the point, intervened William, his voice hoarse from crying. I never should have pressured you for the house, Mom. I am so sorry. I see now that it was all her manipulation. Everything was for her, not for us. Of course it was for me, Olivia turned to him, because you never think big. You never have ambition for anything. You are happy with your mediocre engineering job and your mediocre rented apartment. I wanted more. I deserve more. Then go and get it, said William with a calm that surprised me. Go with Sebastian. Live your life of luxury and superficiality. But not with me. Not anymore. Olivia blinked, clearly not expecting that response. What are you saying? I am saying it is over. Our marriage ends tonight. I want a divorce. You cannot be serious. William, think about it. Yes, I made mistakes, but we can fix it. We can. Fix what? William laughed bitterly. Fix that you never loved me? Fix a year of cheating? Fix that you planned to rob my mother and abandon me? There is nothing to fix. Olivia, there was never anything real to save. If you do this, you will regret it. Sebastian will not leave his wife for me. I will be left alone, with nothing. That is what you want. Those are the consequences of your decisions, not mine, said William. I did not make you cheat. I did not ask you to lie and manipulate. You chose all that. Your mother brainwashed you, Olivia pointed at me with an accusing finger. She planned all this. She hired that investigator, compiled this information, chose this night specifically to destroy me. She is a vengeful manipulator. You are right about one thing, I said calmly. I planned this carefully. I hired the investigator. I gathered the evidence. I chose Christmas Eve because I knew it would be memorable. And you know why? Because my son deserved to know the truth. He deserved to see exactly who you were before you destroyed him completely. This is a show. Olivia shook her head. A pathetic drama from a boring old woman who has nothing better to do than ruin marriages. You ruined your marriage, I said with a steel voice. The moment you decided to sleep with another man, the moment you decided to lie and steal, I only brought the truth to light. Olivia took her new purse from the sofa with trembling hands, her face a mask of barely contained fury. Fine, perfect. If that is how you want it, then that is how it will be. I do not need this. I do not need either of you. Sebastian will take care of me. He knows how to value a real woman. Sebastian. I took out one last document from the envelope. Oh dear, I have news for you about your wonderful Sebastian. I passed her the paper. This is an excerpt from a conversation he had with a friend of his. A conversation my investigator managed to record discreetly at a bar last week. Olivia read the document with widening eyes. I heard her gasp as her fingers clenched the paper until it crumpled. What does it say? Asked William. Olivia did not answer. I answered for her. Sebastian told his friend about his affair. He said you are beautiful, but desperate for money, that you are fun to hang out with, but that he would never leave his wife for you, that you have a dumb husband who knows nothing, and that makes everything more exciting, and that once you get tired or become too demanding, he will simply cut you off and find a new distraction. Olivia was pale as a ghost. That is a lie. He loves me. He has told me. Men like Sebastian say that to all their mistresses, I said with something that could almost be compassion. You thought you were special. That you would leave William, take your money from the sale of my house, and live happily ever after with your rich businessman. But he never had those plans. To him, you are just an expensive toy he will eventually discard. No, Olivia shook her head violently. No, this is another manipulation of yours. You are inventing all this. The audio is on the USB drive that comes with that document, I pointed out. You can listen to it yourself. Every word, every laugh while he described your relationship as his little fun secret. Olivia dropped the paper. Her legs seemed not to hold her, and she sank into a chair. For the first time that night, I saw something genuine on her face. It was not regret or shame. It was pure devastation. Her perfect plan, her golden exit, everything had crumbled. All this was for nothing, she murmured. Everything was for nothing. Not for nothing, I said firmly. It was for greed, for selfishness, for lack of values. And now you are reaping what you sowed. William looked at Olivia with a mixture of pain and disgust. I want you to go. Tonight. Pack your things and get out of the apartment. Where am I supposed to go? Asked Olivia. And for the first time her voice sounded small, frightened. Not my problem. Call Sebastian, or call your parents, or find a hotel. I do not care. But you are not sleeping another night under my roof. William, please. We can talk about this tomorrow, when we are calmer. There is nothing more to talk about. Tomorrow I will contact a divorce lawyer. I want this to end as quickly as possible. Olivia turned to me, desperate. Eleanor, please, tell him to calm down. I know you hate me, but do not let him do something he will regret. The only regret I have, said William before I could respond, is having met you, is having brought you into my mother's life, is having been so blind for so long. I have nothing to say to you, I added with an icy voice. You made your bed, now lie in it. My son deserves much better than you. Olivia looked at both of us, looking for some sign of weakness, some crack in our determination. She found none. Slowly, she stood up, her expensive coral dress, her perfect hair, her flawless makeup. Everything seemed like a costume now, a mask that had finally been ripped off. I regret marrying you, she told William, her voice full of venom. I regret every day I spent pretending your company was tolerable. And you, she looked at me. Go to hell, bitter old woman. I hope your house and your memories keep you warm at night, because that is all you will have. Leave, said William simply. Olivia took her coat and her new purse, the one I had gifted her barely an hour ago when she still pretended tonight would be a celebration. She walked to the door with stiff steps. Before leaving, she turned one last time. Someday, William, when you are alone and miserable, you will realize you made a mistake, and by then it will be too late. The only mistake I made, said William with a firm voice, was not seeing this sooner. Now leave. Olivia left, slamming the door. The sound echoed through the whole house. Then came the silence. A dense, heavy silence, full of unprocessed emotions. William stood in the middle of the dining room, looking at the photographs and documents scattered on the table. Slowly, his legs gave way, and he sat down, burying his face in his hands. 3 years, he whispered between sobs. 3 years of my life with someone who only used me. I approached and put my hand on his shoulder. I am sorry, son. I am sorry you had to go through this. You tried to warn me, right? At the beginning. Subtly. But I did not want to listen. You were in love. Or you thought you were. It is not your fault for trusting the person you married. I feel so stupid, Mom. So incredibly stupid. She was right. I am manipulatable. I let her control me, distance me from you, convince me to try to take your house. He looked at me with red and swollen eyes. Can you forgive me for that? For pressuring you? For making you feel you had to give me your home? You are already forgiven, I said softly, sitting next to him. I knew those were not your true feelings. I knew she was manipulating you. That is why I investigated. That is why I gathered the evidence. To free you from her. You should have told me sooner. Would you have believed me without proof? Or would you have thought I was the manipulator, the jealous mother-in-law trying to separate you from your wife? William considered this, and then nodded slowly. I probably would have taken her side. That is how blind I was. That is why I waited. That is why I did it this way. You needed to see the irrefutable evidence. You needed to hear her admit it with her own words. The way she spoke about you, Mom. The horrible things she said. New tears ran down his face, and I let her. For months I let her treat you badly, make cruel comments, pressure you about the house. I am as guilty as she is. No, you are not. You were a victim of her manipulations, just as much as I was. The difference is, she had you closer, had more influence over you. But I am an adult. I should have seen it. I should have defended my own mother. William, look at me. I took his face between my hands like when he was a child. This is not your fault. Manipulative people are experts at what they do. They know exactly which buttons to press, what words to say, how to present things to get what they want. Olivia studied you, learned your weak points, and exploited them ruthlessly. How could you forgive me so easily when I pressured you for the house? Because you are my son. Because I know you. I knew those were not your true words. They were hers, only coming out of your mouth. William hugged me then, crying on my shoulder like he had not done since he was a teenager. I held him, stroking his hair, letting him release 3 years of pain, manipulation, and lies. I am going to be okay, Mom. I am going to get through this. I know, you are strong, stronger than you think. But now I have to face everything. The divorce, dividing things. She will probably try to get money from me. About that, I said, pulling away a little. There is something else I need to tell you. More. I do not know if I can handle more revelations tonight. These are good news, or at least, news of protection. I took the trust documents out of my handbag. 2 weeks ago, I put the house in an irrevocable trust in my name. No one can touch it while I live. Not even I can sell it now without complex legal procedures. William took the documents with trembling hands, reading them slowly. You protected the house. Before all this, when the pressures began, when I saw the direction things were taking, I knew I needed to protect my home. Not only from Olivia, but from any possible legal manipulation she might attempt. I consulted with Mr. Reynolds, a lawyer specializing in estate planning. So even if I had continued pressuring you, even if Olivia had convinced me to try something legally, it would have been impossible. The house is shielded, and there is more. I showed him the specific clauses of the will. After my death, the house passes to you automatically. But I added conditions. If you ever tried to claim it while I lived, or if you tried to force me legally or emotionally to leave it, you would lose all right to it, and the property would be donated to a charity foundation. William looked at me with eyes full of new tears. You thought of everything. I had to. Not only to protect myself, but to protect you too. If Olivia had managed to get the house, they would have sold it, taken the money, and she would have left you with nothing. Now, even if she tries something in the divorce, she cannot touch the house because legally it does not exist as a marital asset. You are brilliant, Mom, and I was a fool to pressure you. You were not a fool. You were a son who believed in his wife. That does not make you a fool, it makes you human. We sat in silence for a moment, processing everything that had happened. The Christmas dinner I had prepared with so much care remained on the table, cold now, mostly untouched. The fine china plates reflected the light of the candles that were still burning. All that effort for a night that had turned into a pitched battle. What do I do now? Asked William finally. Tomorrow is Christmas. I should be celebrating, and instead my marriage is destroyed. Tomorrow you start rebuilding your life. Today, rest. You can stay here tonight if you want. Your room is exactly the same as when you were a child. William looked toward the stairs, toward the room where he had grown up. Really, I never changed anything. I always thought maybe one day you would have children and they would want to see where their father grew up. Your superhero posters are still on the walls, your books on the shelf. A small, sad smile appeared on his face. I would like to stay. I cannot face that apartment tonight. Not after all this. Then stay. This is your house as much as mine. Always has been. William went up to change. I stayed in the dining room, slowly gathering all the photographs, the documents, the evidence of Olivia's betrayal. I put them carefully in the envelope. These would be important for the divorce. Irrefutable evidence that no lawyer could argue against. When William came down, he was wearing an old t-shirt he found in his closet, sweatpants. He looked young again, vulnerable. He helped me clear the remains of the dinner. We worked in silence, a comfortable, familiar silence, like when he was a teenager, and helped me after family dinners. How much did the car cost you? He asked suddenly while we were washing the dishes. $28,000. It was most of my savings. Mom, you should not have done that. It is too much money. I wanted to give you something special, something that demonstrated how much I love you, despite everything that has passed between us these months. I wanted you to know that, no matter what, you will always be my priority. And I pressured you for your house while you spent your savings on me. He closed his eyes with pain. I do not deserve that car. Of course you deserve it. You deserve to be loved unconditionally, something Olivia never gave you. Why did you buy the purse for her too, after everything she had done? Because at that moment I had not yet revealed everything. And I wanted the contrast to be clear. You gave me nothing, deliberately, as a lesson. I gave you everything I could. I wanted that moment, when she declared they would not give me gifts, to be as shocking as possible before revealing the truth, always thinking several steps ahead. I had to. It was the only way to win against someone like Olivia. We finished cleaning near midnight. The house was silent, tidy, as if the explosion of that night had never happened. But we both knew everything had changed. Forever. Mom, there is something else I need to tell you. said William while we sat in the living room with hot tea. "These last months, the things I told you, the way I treated you, there is no excuse. Even if Olivia was manipulating me, I chose to say those words. I chose to push you away. I chose to pressure you about the house, even when I knew it was hurting you. I already told you that you are forgiven, but I need you to understand that I am deeply sorry, looking you in the eyes and telling you that you were selfish for wanting to keep your own house, calling you less important than my marriage, leaving you waiting for my calls. All that was cruel, and I am sorry more than words can express." "William, look at me." I waited until his eyes met mine. "I forgive you. Completely. Without conditions. What matters now is the future, not the past. How can you be so generous after everything? Because you are my son. Because a mother's love does not break over a few difficult months. Because I know who you really are. And it is not the person Olivia made you be temporarily." We drank our tea in silence. Outside, it began to snow lightly, white flakes falling softly, covering the world in a clean blanket, as if the universe were offering a new beginning. "Tomorrow I have to go to the apartment," said William. "Pick up my things. I do not know if Olivia will have packed her things and left, or if she will be there waiting to fight more. I want you to take copies of all the evidence with you, just in case she tries something, and consider changing the locks immediately." I already thought about it. "I will call a locksmith early tomorrow, and I will contact a lawyer on the 26th. Mr. Reynolds can recommend good divorce lawyers. Men and women who have handled complicated cases with manipulative spouses. Thanks, Mom. For everything. For investigating. For protecting the house. For protecting me. I do not know what I would have done without you. You would have found a way. You are stronger than you think. But I am glad I could help." That night, William slept in his old room. I stayed awake a while longer, sitting on my bed, processing everything that had happened. I had planned this revelation for weeks, but the reality had been more intense than I imagined. Seeing the pain in my son's eyes when he discovered the betrayal. Hearing Olivia admit everything without remorse. Witnessing the collapse of a marriage in real time. But it had also been liberating. For the first time in months, my son was under my roof, safe, protected from manipulation. The truth had come to light. The lies had been exposed. And although the path forward would be difficult, at least now we were walking it together, not separated by the manipulations of an unscrupulous woman. I fell asleep near 3 a.m, exhausted but at peace. I had done the right thing. I had protected my son the best way I knew how. And although it had been brutal, it had been necessary. Christmas morning dawned bright and cold. I got up early and prepared William's favorite breakfast. Pancakes with honey, crispy bacon, scrambled eggs, fresh orange juice. When he came down, with swollen eyes but a calmer expression, he smiled seeing the table. Like in the old times. Exactly like in the old times. We ate together, talking about simple things. We avoided mentioning Olivia or the divorce. It was Christmas, and we deserved a few hours of peace before facing reality again. After breakfast, William helped me decorate the tree I had left half-finished. We placed each ornament with care, remembering stories of past Christmases. He found the ornament he had made in preschool, a papier-mâché star painted bright yellow. "I cannot believe you still have this. I have every ornament you made since you were 3 years old. Every drawing, every Mother's Day card, every school project. Everything is kept in boxes in the attic. You are sentimental. I am a mother." Near noon, William's phone began to ring. It was Olivia. He looked at the screen, and then at me. "Pick up. It is your decision," he answered, putting it on speaker. "What do you want, Olivia?" "William, please. We need to talk. I am at a hotel. I have nowhere to go. My family is in another state, and I cannot get there until tomorrow. Not my problem. Please, just listen to me for 5 minutes. I made mistakes, I admit it, but we can overcome them. We can go to therapy." "There is nothing to overcome, Olivia. You cheated on me for a full year. You planned to rob my mother. You used me. That is not fixed with therapy. William, please." I was confused, scared. Sebastian manipulated me too. He made me believe he loved me, that he would leave his wife. I was a victim just as much as you. William looked at me and shook his head with disbelief. Now you are the victim. Incredible. I am. Please, just let me go back to the apartment. We can talk calmly, without your mother interfering. My mother is not interfering. My mother saved me from continuing to live a lie. And no, you cannot go back to the apartment. Today a locksmith is coming to change all the locks. There was silence on the other end. Then, Olivia's voice changed, becoming hard again. Fine. If that is how you want to play, I will play too. My lawyer is going to ask for half of everything. The apartment, the furniture, your savings, everything. And I am going to ask for spousal support. Go ahead. I have photographic and video evidence of your infidelity. Messages from you planning to steal and abandon me. No judge will give you anything. In fact, I will probably end up with everything. This is not over, William. I'm going to fight. Fight all you want. You already lost. William hung up. He stood looking at the phone, breathing deeply. Do you think she will really try to fight in the divorce? She can try, but with all the evidence we have, she will not get very far. Any decent lawyer will tell her she has no case. I hope you are right. The following days were a whirlwind. William contacted the lawyer recommended by Mr. Reynolds, a man named Henry Solis, specialized in complicated divorces. He showed him all the evidence, and Henry smiled. This is the easiest divorce case I have seen in years. She has no legal basis to claim anything. The infidelity is documented, the manipulation is proven. We even have evidence that she planned to commit fraud against her mother. This will be resolved in 3 months max. And so it was. Olivia hired a lawyer, but when he saw the mountain of evidence, he advised her to accept a quick settlement. William kept the apartment, the furniture, his savings. Olivia left with her clothes and her designer purses. Nothing else. She did not even ask for alimony when her lawyer explained that a judge would likely reject it given the evidence of infidelity. The divorce was finalized in February. William arrived at my house that afternoon with a bottle of sparkling wine. It is official. I am free. We toasted in the kitchen, the same kitchen where months ago I had planned Olivia's exposure. How do you feel? Relieved. Sad for the time lost, but relieved that it ended. And surprised at how fast it was. When the truth is on your side, things tend to resolve quickly. In the following weeks, William began to rebuild his life. He resumed hobbies he had abandoned during his marriage. He started going to the gym, reconnected with friends Olivia had subtly pushed out of his life. And he visited me 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes just for dinner, sometimes to spend the weekend. It is strange, he told me one Sunday while we drank coffee in my garden. During 3 years, Olivia made me believe that spending time with you was an obligation, something I did out of duty. Now I realize how much I enjoyed these visits. How much I missed you all those months. I missed you too, son. Did you ever hear about Olivia? What happened to her? Frank, the investigator, kept me informed out of professional curiosity. Sebastian cut her off completely after he found out about the divorce. He did not want drama near his family. She tried to contact him, but he blocked all her numbers. And where is she now? She returned to her parents in another state. According to what I heard, she is working at a normal clothing store, nothing fancy. Her parents took away all the expensive things Sebastian had gifted her and sold them to pay her debts. Apparently, she had been using credit cards in your name that you did not know about. William sighed. I am not surprised, but it is already my lawyer's problem to recover that money, not mine. Exactly. You focus on your future, not on her past. By April, William met someone new, Sarah, a colleague engineer from his company. He introduced her to me one day, nervous but excited. She was different from Olivia in every way. No excessive makeup, no designer clothes, no pretenses, genuine smile, warm eyes, intelligent conversation. It is a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Eleanor. William speaks a lot about you. Good things, I hope. Only wonderful things. He told me everything you did for him. It is admirable. During dinner, I observed William with Sarah. The way he looked at her was different. There was no desperation to please that he had with Olivia. Just genuine warmth, respect, friendship mixed with affection. It was what love should be. After they left, I sat in my living room, looking at the family photographs on the walls. My husband William as a child, moments captured from a life well lived. And I thought about everything that had happened. The months of manipulation, the pain of seeing my son drift away, the decision to investigate, the confrontation on Christmas Eve. It had been brutal. It had been necessary. And it had been worth it. My house remained mine, legally protected forever. My son had escaped a toxic marriage before it destroyed him completely. And our relationship had not only been saved, it had strengthened. 6 months after that Christmas Eve, William invited me to dinner. When I arrived at his apartment, freshly decorated with his own style, with no traces of Olivia, I found Sarah helping him in the kitchen. They prepared my favorite meal, working together with the ease of two people who genuinely enjoyed each other's company. "Mom, we wanted to tell you something," began William after dinner, taking Sarah's hand. "Sarah and I have been talking about the future. Nothing immediate, but we want you to know this is serious. I am very glad to hear that. And we wanted your blessing. I know it is soon after the divorce, but Sarah is different. She is real. She is everything Olivia never was." I looked at Sarah, who looked at me with genuine hope and respect. "You have my blessing, and my welcome to this family." That night, driving back home, I reflected on how life takes strange turns. That Christmas Eve had been the most difficult moment of my recent life. Exposing Olivia, seeing William's pain, facing the collapse of his marriage. But it had been the necessary catalyst for everything to get better. Sometimes love requires difficult decisions. It requires protecting those we love even when it hurts. It requires telling the truth even when it is brutal. And it requires standing firm for what is right, regardless of the pressure. That night, when I took that envelope out of my handbag and said, "I have one more gift for you," I changed the course of our lives. Not with more manipulation or lies, but with the pure and irrefutable truth. And that truth, however painful it was, had freed us all. My house remains my sanctuary, full of memories, and now with new stories. William visits me regularly, brings Sarah, they plan their future together, and I, at my 66 years, learned that it is never too late to fight for what is yours, to protect who you love, and to stand firm against injustice. That Christmas Eve, when William declared there would be no gifts to teach me a lesson, he did not know that the real lesson would be received by him. The lesson that actions have consequences, that the truth always comes to light, and that a mother's true love never gives up.